Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 135 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor. No Damon this week. Damon's got he's got family obligations. You know, he's got stuff going on. In fact, I think he actually had some breakfast with some of our listeners, so which is cool. Yeah, so Damon's out and about, unfortunately, but fortunately, we're very fortunate to have Amanda Hollis with us, who is both a listener and a fellow podcaster and a Disney travel agent. So I don't want to give away all the stuff that you do, Amanda. So if you want to talk about your podcast and your Disney background and your Disney street cred, let's say, please tell us all about you and the things you do with Disney.
Well, I first want to say I am so excited to be here. So thank you for having me. I am Amanda Hollis, and I am a co-host of the Three Mouseketeers podcast. That's a podcast I do with my brother and my sister. So it's all in the family. It's real fun.
That's a good name. I like it. I like the name. Yeah. It's a lot more creative than ours was.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with your name. It's good. Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
I am a travel agent and I specialize in Disney travel. So if anyone is ever looking to go anywhere with Disney, I'm here for you. And
what's your travel agency name, just so they can find you?
Oh, that's a great question. I work with Capture the Magic Vacations.
There you go.
Yes. And I'm also a DVC owner. So I own at Poly and Bay Lake Tower and newly the Riviera. So that's super exciting.
Oh, wow. I thought you were going to say Saratoga, and that was going to be kind of funny because that would have been all the three that we own at, or that we initially bought at, because Trevor owns Poly, I own a Bay Lake, well, I also own an Animal Kingdom, and Damon owns Saratoga. So it would have been funny if you said Saratoga.
I know, right?
Yeah. Have you gotten to stay at Riviera yet, or?
We have. We've actually stayed there twice, and we fell in love with it, and that's why we ended up buying points there.
Oh, nice. So you stayed there before you bought the points there? Yes,
that's correct.
Nice. Great. What else do you want to tell us? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but listen, I know that travel agent life. I did that for quite a while. It's definitely an interesting thing to do.
I really enjoy being a travel agent. I've lived kind of all over the world and traveled a lot of places. So I like being able to help other people enjoy the world too. So I think it's really fun being able to help. And I have 3 children and a husband. I have a 20-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. So they're kind of really spread out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, being a Disney travel agent is really interesting because, there's a lot of things that people don't realize going to Disney, especially for the first time. And the nice thing, of course, about Disney travel agents too, is that there's no extra cost, right, to the person that's reserving it. So to the guests, right, it's all kind of Disney pays the travel agent. So it's basically the same as if you would have booked it yourself, and you get this person that can plan all your stuff for you.
That's right. Yeah, I don't charge any fees. So whatever you would find online or with any of the companies is what I charge. And you're kind of just helping a small business because then Disney pays us, which, helps us out too.
For sure. Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, man. I kind of grabbed you last minute. You had offered up to be a guest host a while ago, and I just kind of was like, a couple hours ago, I was like, hey, you want to jump in and do the third book tonight?
Well, I'm so glad I could join.
I'm glad too.
Yeah.
I'm very glad too. So I wanted to mention our Haunted Mansion. Wow. I'm starting off great tonight. Haunted River Country shirts are still available. We do have them still out there. So you go to haunted.welcomehomepodcast.com to go to the Haunted River Country shirt store. I've noticed that people are starting to get them, starting to receive them. So that's cool. And they look like they came out great. So
I was going to say that I realized that the sad part is that everyone else is probably going to get their shirts before I get my shirt at this point.
That's true. Yours has shipped though. It's on the way. Like
it has, but
customs and all that fun stuff.
Everything takes so long to get here.
I know. I will mention that these shirts are available worldwide. So I know we have some listeners in Europe. And elsewhere, I know there's some in South America too. So you can order these anywhere. And there's actually printers specifically in Europe, so it's not shipping from the U.S. to Europe. So that's a thing you can do too if you're not in the U.S. or in Canada. Anybody can order this. So check it out. And if you're wary about the shirt, go into the group and you can see some people have been posting pictures of theirs. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And everyone seems to be really liking them so far.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So that's haunted.welcomehomepodcast.com. So listener questions. I just added this one in and,
So hold on. But before we do this, I feel you didn't, I'm just looking at the rundown. You didn't put Disneyland's anniversary on here. And
you're right, I didn't.
I feel you should have, because the day that we're recording this is actually the day of the anniversary, July 17th.
That's true. That is true. You're right.
I'm calling this out. Sorry, this is behind the scenes.
Sorry.
But, happy anniversary to Disneyland for all those.
Happy anniversary, Disneyland.
66 years old.
But 66 is like a whatever number, right? Like it's
still
we
older
need those
than
like
me.
round numbers, right? Like 65 is somehow more valuable than 66.
Yeah, but still, I find it actually kind of amusing that we're actually recording on the anniversary. Yeah,
that is kind of funny. Yeah, I agree. All right, so I feel so bad for Tanya because Tanya emails me and she sends me all these really great like trip reports, and I owe Tanya a hat, and I just have not. I owe her a hat from like so long ago, and Tanya, I promise you, I will get you a hat. I swear.
Send us a message, Tanya.
Oh, she did. She did. She mentioned it. It's in here, right? So,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Well, I just feel bad because I do owe you a hat, and I have not forgotten about you. I swear, I promise. I just don't even know if I have any more hats. So we probably will do another order of hats at some point. So I will get you a hat. I promise. I swear. So. Tanya just placed her order for Haunted River Country shirt for January, February. Great. So you get to wear that out. Figured I'd reach out to see if you have any more hats. Oh, man. I'd love to give you guys some street cred. It's funny. It's the word street cred mentioned twice now in the first 7 minutes of the podcast.
Probably because you were reading this stuff as you
Maybe that's why. That's probably why. You're right. But if all else fails, she plans to put a pin on your mini hat. You might have to do that. I'm sorry. But anyway, so she said, I believe you or Trevor are going in February, correct? And that would be Trevor's going in February.
Yes.
Right. So she is going the 29th to February 5th.
Which, unfortunately, I'm going to miss you, Tanya. I am there from the 12th to the 19th.
Missed by a week.
Sorry.
So she's working on squeezing a bonus day in the beginning. So let's see here.
So to summarize this, she's asking, so for an extra day in the park, she's trying to figure out what is the best thing, an extra park day is what I should say. They're going down a day early and they want to add on an extra day to their tickets. And they're kind of figuring, where is the best park to go, especially on a Saturday. So that's a tough one because really, Saturday is just the busiest day of the week, no matter how you slice it. But it's kind of a question of, which park could you potentially get the most out of on a Saturday, like the day you're arriving? So
I feel like you'd be okay with EPCOT because there's not a festival going on at that point, right? January. There's no festival then. So like EPCOT is busy like right now on the weekends because you have all the locals that go to Food and Wine, right?
Yeah.
But when there's no festival going on, you might be all right to do that.
That's actually whenever the arts festival is. Does
that start that early?
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Actually, you're right. Yeah. Festival of the Arts is in January, February.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought it started in February, like later in February, but you're right on. Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
So okay, I'm wrong then. So don't go. This is why we have you on, Amanda, to tell us that we're wrong. It's great. But yeah, it's tough now though too, because like Hollywood Studios is always busy now, right? Because like people are trying to get on Rise of the Resistance. Like Hollywood Studios almost feels like the most popular park right now, especially on the weekends, because especially with locals and the pass holders. And I'm assuming by this time we'll have annual passes back too.
Hopefully,
that's what I'm banking on. So
yes.
So yeah. So I don't know. This is a tough question. I always say Animal Kingdom because I love Animal Kingdom, but
Well, so here's. Yeah, I guess I've never thought about doing Animal Kingdom on a Saturday. The thing is thinking about it, you're coming in that day. The idea is just to spend a couple of hours at the park. So you're not obviously banking on any big ticket rides. So yeah, to your point about Hollywood Studios, you're not going to do a lot in Hollywood Studios because the big stuff there is all, you got to line up hours ahead or get into a boarding group or whatever. So, looking at the other parks, Animal Kingdom is definitely viable. I feel it's I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I feel like Animal Kingdom is the most laid back of all the parks.
Yeah. And because there's like less rides, like you can just kind of stroll down like one of the animal paths and check out. Yeah.
Like there's the explorer paths. There's going to Rafiki's Planet Watch. There's a bunch of different things. You don't have to necessarily be in line for rides or trying to do that kind of stuff. So Animal Kingdom is good there. So Epcot is kind of the same thing. Like there's a lot of World Showcase. You can we've done this ourselves where we've arrived. Not when we've arrived, we've gone to Magic Kingdom, but like on our last day when we're leaving, we've actually gone to Epcot for a couple of hours once. Yeah. And it was literally just, walk around. Like we didn't plan on getting on any rides or anything like that. So I would keep it between those two parks because Magic Kingdom on the other side, one, it's going to, it's going to be the, in the middle of the anniversary year. So Magic Kingdom is just going to be busy for the next year, no matter how you slice it. And
plus she has 4 little kids too, right? So Animal Kingdom is great for kids, I feel like,
Yeah. So I would toss it up between Epcot and Animal Kingdom personally.
I don't necessarily disagree, but I kind of do just because Animal Kingdom usually closes earlier. So if you're not getting there until, I don't know, 1 or 2, then you're not really getting very much time in the park. So Epcot usually stays open later. So that would probably be my choice.
That's a good point. Yeah,
that's fair. She does actually say as well that they were planning to go to a park for a couple of hours and then drive over to Target, get some stuff, and then go to the room and unpack. So
yeah,
I guess if you're not planning to spend your evening at Epcot, or your evening at a park, Animal Kingdom would make more sense if you're planning to do something else. But to your point, Amanda, if it's if you're actually planning to spend the full day there or go like to close or something like that, Epcot would be the better park in that case.
I agree.
Yeah.
So she also has any recommendations for sit-down meals on her trip. We have 2 grandparents, 4 adults, 2 6-year-olds, 1 almost 3-year-old, and 1 1-year-old. Again, it'll just be my family of 4 until Monday. I was thinking Hollywood and Vine for the character breakfast, Tusker House for the character lunch, Whispering Canyon for dinner. I'm never going to say no to Whispering Canyon, or Via Napoli for that matter. Those are 2 great places always. I would go Via Napoli over Tudo just because I like Via Napoli. But I mean, it's the same kitchen, but I love Via Napoli. We've never been to any of these, but I secretly want to get in a couple character meals when my youngest is still free. I know what Trevor's going to say of where you should go.
You darn right know where I'm going to say. You're going to Garden Grill.
Garden Grill.
Go to Garden Grill. It is the best. And I've actually done this on our last trip. It was my family and my parents came. So we had grandparents, we had my son, he's gone since he was 10. So, it's an all around good, I mean, I haven't done with super young kids, but I know the kind of food they're like, he would have eaten that food even if he was like 5 years old. So
it's great food. Yeah. I mean, it's delicious.
Yeah.
It really is good. I love Garden Grill, but I also really enjoy Topolino's Terrace for breakfast.
Ooh. I tried to get that last time when I went for my short trip recently, because I've heard people rave about Topolino's for breakfast. Like I've heard it's great. And I think that's a good suggestion too, because you don't have to be in a park, right? So
right.
that's a helpful one. Yeah, I also think, Whispering Canyon's always fun. Whispering Canyon's a great time. Sorry, go ahead, Trevor.
Yeah, I was going to say that's actually a good point. Is that there is a lot of character meals at the resorts that, I guess, if you're not wanting to commit to a particular park on a day, looking at one of the resort ones is definitely a good idea. Like I actually liked Storybook dining at Animal Kingdom, or not Animal Kingdom, Wilderness Lodge.
Wilderness Lodge. Yeah. See, for me, like if I go to Wilderness Lodge, I just want to go to like Whispering Canyon. It's hard for me not to go there. I just enjoy that place so much and the fun of it. But
it's the same problem I have with Garden Grill. I don't want to go anywhere else at EPCOT, but I know I should. But I want to go to Garden Grill.
Well, that's my problem with EPCOT though too. Is I always want to go to Via Napoli. That's our favorite place at EPCOT. We love Via Napoli. It got to a point where we were doing it every trip because it just always was consistently good. Whispering Canyon's great. Hollywood and Vine. I've actually, believe it or not, never done Hollywood and Vine ever. I've never been.
I really enjoyed Hollywood and Vine now that it's changed to the family style.
Really?
It's so much better than the buffet was.
Really?
It's worth a shot.
Now,
all right.
I'm curious. I've never been to Hollywood and Vine either, but we've gone to Primetime 50s Diner. Do they share the same kitchen? Because they're right next to each other, right?
They're right next. They're the same building, pretty much, aren't they? Like attached, yeah.
They are. I am not sure if they share the same kitchen or not, but you can see in Hollywood and Vine, you can see their kitchen. So if they do, I don't know how that works.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I would say go to Primetime as something, but if you can get the same kind of food at Hollywood and Vine, that's kind of the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah, my recommendations for Hollywood's... I'm sorry, go ahead, Amanda. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say their food is totally different. So even if they share a kitchen, their food is different.
I have to tell you, so like I always say like to people, so Sci-Fi is a unique experience, right? Like Sci-Fi is one of my favorite places. I don't even care if the food isn't good. Although the last time we went, no, I'm being serious. Like
no, that's fair. But
the last time we went there, the food was actually really good. Like, but I've been there before where the food was just kind of like meh. But Sci-Fi is an experience, right? Like that place. And so it's the same with Whispering Canyon, which again, we've always had good food at Whispering Canyon, but that place is an experience, like you go there for the fun of that. And I think if you're bringing kids that age, like all the interactive stuff they do with kids at Whispering Canyon is the best. Like I love that place for that. But also like Whispering Canyon and 50s are good examples of if your waiter's not into it, it's not as fun. Right? Like, and it's funny because I don't think I talked about this on the podcast. I don't know why I didn't talk about this. I think I told you guys, my sister was at Disney, right? For like a day. They just went for a day because they were in Florida. They were visiting my mom and, they went for one day. Right. And my sister was freaking out because she had no reservations. Right. Then at everything, all the quick services closed pretty early right now. And, until things get fully opened up. And so I was helping her. I was just kind of like on the website doing that constant refresh, right? Mm-hmm. Did I tell you guys about this?
I don't think you did. No.
Okay, this is pretty funny. So I was doing the constant refresh, right? And lo and behold, like a 6:30 reservation pops up for 50s, right? So I go to grab it. I click it and go to grab it really quickly. And by the time I get to like, the sign-in page, it's gone, right? So I text my sister, is like, "Oh man, I had this reservation for you for 6:30, but it's gone." She goes, "I know, I got it." So she snapped it. I was trying to get her this reservation and she snapped it out from under me. But anyway, they had a good time there, but they said their waiter wasn't into it at all. Like wasn't giving them a hard time. Like they saw others doing it. So it wasn't like a, COVID thing. It was, it literally just their waiter was just kind of meh. Like, and that happens sometimes. Like, last time I went to Whispering Canyon, our waiter was kind of just a little bit into it, but not really. Like, those places, the waiter really makes the difference, I feel like.
Yeah, no, I think for any sit down at Disney, I feel that's the case. But
yeah, but even more so for those two places because it's like almost a character in and of itself at those places,
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Yeah, we kind of covered off a bunch of different restaurants. So hopefully for Tanya, that gives you some insight and some stuff to work with for planning your trip. So yeah.
And I hope, listen, Please don't hate me, Tanya. I will get you a hat someday. I promise you. I swear I will. Oh gosh.
All right, let's move on to Katie's got a question here.
That's so easy.
She says she's still catching up from her vacation, so glad she had a good time. She says, but her question is, what's your favorite mode of transportation? Your car, or she says in brackets, your car driving you to the park, bus, boats, monorail, walking, and Skyliner. So yeah, I think that covers all of them.
I'm going to do a ranking.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go Skyliner, monorail. This is not from first to last. Mm-hmm. Skyliner, monorail, boat, bus, walking.
Okay. Mine would go probably Skyliner, monorail, boats, walking, bus.
All right, so we just had the last two switched.
I dislike the bus of all the modes. Like if I can walk somewhere, I would rather walk than get on a bus if I had to.
I also do feel like Skyliner is 1 and monorail is like 1A.
Yeah,
like, I mean, it's hard to choose for me.
If there was more Skyliner, I would be even more engaged on that. And I mean, monorail, like I honestly, I guess now that I think about it, I could probably switch boats and monorail because even when given the choice, I would rather get on the ferry at the TTC than using the monorail to get over to Magic Kingdom. So, yeah.
See, when I think boats, I think friendship boats. I don't even think ferry. But, either way.
That's fair. What about you, Amanda?
It really depends for me, like what park I'm going to, where I'm staying. But I enjoy the Skyliner as long as it's not late at night when everybody's trying to leave, because that line can get crazy long.
Yeah. So, at least it keeps moving, though, not like the bus where you just stand there.
That's true. That's a great point. I do love the Skyliner, and I'm afraid of heights. So I was terrified getting on the first time, but it doesn't actually feel like you're that high up, even though you are. So
and it's
I really
peaceful.
enjoy that.
It's nice and peaceful, too. It's just like, I don't like heights either, so I'm with you. So.
Yeah. And then walking, I love to walk. But other than that, we get our car and we usually drive to all the parks. It's just so much easier with kids. So much easier.
Yeah, well, I could see that being definitely a big advantage. All right. Rob asked an interesting question. Best bites where you can eat outside. That's a really, I've never really thought about that, but I mean, I feel like just about anywhere you can, grab food and eat outside, right?
Well, most quick services are outside, but most sit downs are not outdoors. But I guess it's also a question of like, what's the best thing you could get? Like something you would pick up. An obvious one would be the cheeseburger spring rolls.
Oh God. Those pepperoni pizza ones were so good, man. Like I wish they weren't so expensive. I probably could have spent $100 on those and just kept eating them. I probably would have been very sick afterwards, but they were.
I had them at a dessert party and it was very bad.
Oh my God.
I mean, it was wonderful, but I felt pretty bad afterwards because I ate too many.
Because you ate too many, yeah. Yeah, this is tough because when I think like an outside food, I think of somebody walking through Frontierland eating a turkey leg. Like, you know what I mean? Like or somebody walking around, Adventureland eating a Dole Whip. Like there's a lot of stuff you can eat outside and, walk around to. Or, gosh, I mean, I almost want to go the popcorn cart in EPCOT just because every time we ever walk by that popcorn cart, we always get that popcorn. And I feel like popcorn's the ultimate, you can bring it anywhere and eat it food.
My wife would agree with you on that. She loves getting her popcorn bucket and just like it's full all the time. She just, not even just at Epcot, like she just always has the Disney popcorn on hand.
Oh yeah. And I always go to, I always go back to the Nutella waffle at Sleepy Hollow. That's always one of my favorites. But that's not really one you can walk around with. I feel like you got to sit and eat that one.
Right. I also like Flame Tree Barbecue in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
You know the problem with that place though, Amanda, is the aggressive bird species that like I've talked about this on the show because of my 2 trips ago, we had a bird dive bomb our table and take out all of our food. And like immediately an employee came over and was like, "Can I see your receipt? I'll go get you all new food." Like, because it just happens all the time.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
They do have a
those
bird
birds are
problem
very
there.
aggressive. Yeah, they have a problem. Although I think they put up like netting and stuff now, and so it's maybe not as bad. I don't know.
Now, and I have to wonder if it's been bad since COVID, because there was a period there where there was nobody eating there.
That's true.
That's a good point.
I wonder if it's any different now because they may have all moved on to find
Yeah,
other food sources, right?
Yeah, no, that's a favorite though, Amanda. I think that's a favorite amongst all of us. Like I except for Damon, who doesn't get barbecue at the parks because we live in North Carolina, and he's like, I can get barbecue here. But I mean, like, just because I can get barbecue here doesn't mean I don't want to have it everywhere. Like,
Exactly.
I want to have barbecue everywhere I go.
I live in Alberta, and we can get barbecue too, but I still eat it in Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I live in Kansas, and I'm from Texas. Both big barbecue places.
Yeah.
And I still
Kansas
get
barbecue
there.
is something else, I will admit.
It is pretty
Yeah.
good. Mm.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of another good like walk around food. I mean, pretty much anything you get at Food and Wine's a walk around food, right? Because you have to. There's nowhere else to go.
The trash can service.
Yeah. Although, you know what though, when I did Flower and Garden, they had like a ton of tables just floating around. Like I know that's like a running joke, but we never ate off a trash can. Like there were a lot of stand-up tables that we could eat at.
Yeah, I think they've gotten better at it over the years. But I know, so not Disney World exclusive, but the corn dog from the
I was
Red
waiting
Wagon.
for you to go there.
Yeah,
I was waiting for you to go to the corn dog.
If you can get a hand dipped corn dog in Disney, again, it's going to be good. So that's a good walk around food as well, right? It's portable, and you can just kind of stroll around the hub and eat.
That's a good one.
Yep.
All right. So you want to read Chris's question?
Yeah. So Chris says, what is one change or update you feel Disney needs to make in the near future in order to stay relevant in the ever-changing amusement and entertainment marketplace?
I mean, I kind of feel like they're doing it. I do feel like they try to stay up with the stuff. I mean, they're aware of this problem of, of everything is changing rapidly. And by the time you build something, it's already out of date. It's not that like they don't know that,
So I think it's more, there's lots of entertainment companies out there, and I know that Disney partners with different companies to build rides and stuff like this, but I feel they've hit a critical mass. And really, it is kind of actually going back, because when they started, they were building everything themselves. I feel that they should actually go back to doing their own thing and stop chasing, the latest technology. Like, things, I know Damon rags on Avatar a lot. For just being a screen. And yeah, to be fair, if there's too much of that kind of stuff, I feel that would definitely drag Disney down and not differentiate them from the other places like Universal that, frankly, do some of that stuff better than Disney does. I think this kind of goes back to when, the question I asked Damon about, is Disney playing Universal's game and losing? I think Disney needs to stop playing that game if they want to stay relevant. They need to carve their own path again.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like they are doing it. I feel like the things that they're doing are still their things, and they're still, doing new things all the time, doing things that have never been done before. I think that they're still doing that. I don't think they need to do anything different. And I mean, when I look at it too, though, I look at things like their acknowledgement, I feel like, of the video game, of like everybody being in part of a video game kind of society with the Play Pavilion, right? Like that Play Pavilion thing that they can update anytime they want, and that it's, making people into a video game. Like it's, I think that's their acknowledgement of like, we understand everybody has consoles in their house that can do a lot of the things like Damon always says, right? And this is them also providing a more interactive version of that, I guess, right? So I don't know. In my mind, I think that they're not in any danger of not being relevant anymore.
No, I mean, you're right. It's not that they're in immediate danger, but I just feel that if they continue down that road, they could be in danger.
Sure. Amanda, were you going to say something?
My concern is when Universal opens their new park, that's really going to give Disney a run for the money, because it's going to be top of the line and it's supposed to be ginormous. So I would be concerned about Disney losing some ground when that happens.
And
Yeah,
we've
maybe.
already seen a bit of a taste of it with Super Nintendo World in Japan.
Right.
So because that's going to be coming, and that honestly looks pretty amazing even for the park in Japan.
Yeah. Although I still think that Mario Kart ride was kind of weird. And
it was kind of a weird hybrid Avatar.
We had like high hopes for that ride, and it just ended up being kind of like, all right.
It should have been faster, yes, but still, there's a lot of really cool things that I think they've done there in terms of just making an overall interactive area. Like the land itself is actually better than the rides in the land. I think.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Yeah.
I also think Disney,
no, please.
I think Disney needs to keep doing what they're good at. I think they've always been known for their customer service and being friendly. And I think if they lose that, that's really going to be what hurts them in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's a good point. All right, let's see here. We're not going to get to all these questions.
Yeah.
I feel like I know what Trevor's answer to Christian's question is going to be. If they were to build another Disney park resort anywhere around the world, where would you like a new resort park and what theme? Canada.
Yeah, somewhere in Canada, please.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't really have a answer to that question because I live 7.5 hours from Disney World. So unless you want to build one 5 minutes from me, then cool.
I think there are lots of good options for places. I mean, I'd love to see a fifth gate in Florida.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Texas, I think, would be a great option because that's a lot closer to me than Florida is.
And you get the year-round weather there too, right?
Exactly. For the most part, depending on where you are. Australia, I think, would be really fun because I would go there anytime. And if I ever live in New Zealand again, then I could go to Australia all the time. So I would be totally okay with that.
All right. Those are a lot of good options. You really were prepared for that question.
I've never thought about Australia before. That's kind of an interesting, that could be a very unique park.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So, Bobby, how long of a Disney trip is too long? I don't really have an answer to that.
Is there a trip that's too long?
That's
a trick question.
There is. Yeah,
I don't know if I've found it yet. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I go for 8 days and it's usually not enough, but I know, a lot of times when we meet people from like Europe, they'll usually be there for like 2 or 3 weeks, but they also go other places, they go to like other parks and stuff. But I mean, I would be okay with 2 weeks. Like I wouldn't feel like that was too long. I think there's enough to do that you could, keep yourself occupied.
We did a 2-week trip back in 2006. It was me and my wife and my brother. And we were there for 2 weeks. And the only key to that was we planned for a downtime day in the middle, just to make sure that we weren't completely exhausted. And I think that's the biggest thing is, if you're going to be there for a long period of time, you have to account for downtime. But, I feel, 2 weeks was good. I have to wonder if by 3 or 4 weeks, if I would start to hit a point of where I would just want to not be there specifically. And I wouldn't hate it, but I would be like, okay, I just want to go do something else for a while.
I get that. But if you were there for like 3 weeks though, would you like go to Universal or go to SeaWorld or go elsewhere?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah, for sure. I would be just seeing what else is around besides Disney if I was there for like a month.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would do that too. I always wanted to go to, where's the place where they shoot rockets off at? Why am I blanking on the name of it?
Cape Canaveral.
Cape Canaveral. I've always wanted to go there. There's lots of places you go. I'd go back to Universal. It's been a long time since I've been to Universal. So
I'm still,
last time I was there, Jaws was there, and Nickelodeon was still there. So
like Amanda said, I'm waiting for that third park to open before I really start looking at Universal.
Right.
There you go. Yeah.
Even going to the beach. And I know, Tom, you're closer to the beach, but I'm in the middle of the country. There is no beach anywhere near me. So I would just go and enjoy the beach too. So
even me, I'm still 3 hours from the beach. So, but closer than you for sure.
Yes.
I have a lake. It's enough.
There you go. Yeah, you got a lake. That works.
Yeah.
That works. All right. So I think that's all for our questions. I think we probably went far enough with the questions today. Don't you think?
Yep. Yeah, I think we covered off some good ones. Thanks everyone for your submissions as usual. Yeah,
as usual. Yeah. And if we didn't pick yours, I'm sorry. Except for Dan, who asks weird questions and, has a problem with swan and dolphin guests for some reason. I don't know. If you want to know what his question was, go in the group and look at it. Because I'm not reading it. So, Trevor, you want to go ahead and do our ad for DVC Resale?
Yep, for sure. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2020, DVC Resale Market helped over 3,600 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767, and when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
All right. Man, we got.
Let's talk
it's
holidays.
Funny because it's funny, Trevor, because we literally last episode or 2 episodes ago. I think Damon wasn't there, so I think it was 2 episodes ago. We were just talking about Disney hasn't announced any holiday stuff yet, and here we go. We got a dump of all the holiday stuff. Although I noticed there was nothing in here about Candlelight Processional. There's nothing there, right? They didn't say yes or no to that.
So. The interesting thing is that they're doing the after hours, or they're continuing the after hours into the Christmas parties instead of doing the instead of doing the normal
Mickey's,
so it's very merriest after hours is the name of it, and
it's not Mickey's this time, it's Disney merriest after hours.
It doesn't have to be Mickey's all the time, Tom.
Yes, it does. It's
no,
Mickey's
it doesn't.
House.
I know it's his house, but he doesn't have to have the party.
It always has to be Mickey's. Mickey's hosting everybody. Okay. I noticed it's starting November 8th because I feel like, usually I feel like they start earlier than that, right? Am I wrong about this? Amanda might know because she's the travel agent, but I feel like it usually starts right after Halloween, right?
It's usually about a week after Halloween. So they usually have, it's about the same. They usually have the first or the last Halloween party on the 1st or 2nd of November. And then about a week later, they have the first Christmas party. So it's about the same.
About the right timing. So it's going to go November 8th to the December 21st, select evening. So not every night. The interesting part about this one is it's going to, I mean, it's longer, I think, than the Halloween run, right? The Halloween one's only 3 hours. This one's going to be 4.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. I mean, isn't the Halloween one 7 to 11, I want to say, or something like that? Amanda, you probably know. I'm not paying attention to Boo Bash.
It does start at 9, but I think you're right. I do think it's over at midnight and not at
midnight.
1.
Okay. Yeah, so this one's a little bit longer.
It is.
So,
yeah.
Guests are able to enter at 7 o'clock. We don't have pricing yet, right? I don't think they put out pricing, but they're saying there is going to be Minnie's Wonderful Christmas Time fireworks. Okay, so they are going to abandon the 50th anniversary fireworks for special Christmas ones. That was one we were talking about, right? So that was something we were talking about. Are they just going to a month after debuting brand new or 2 months, a month after debuting a new fireworks show, they're going to go to the holiday overlay, which I think is interesting.
But it's not every night though. It's only on select
just
nights.
For this.
So it's basically every other night you do. So if you really want to see the 50th fireworks, you have to plan for a night that's not the Christmas party.
Are you guys thinking same price as Boo Bash or more expensive? Because I'm thinking more expensive.
I'm betting the same price. I can see them just for the sake of consistency. It'll probably follow the similar pattern where the earlier parties, like the September Boo Bash parties, will be cheaper, and then the closer you get to December, it'll get more expensive. But I don't see them really skewing the price too far out of what they're doing with Boo Bash. Just because I guess, sorry, and again, I don't pay a ton of attention to this, but I don't recall the same thing with the regular Christmas and Halloween parties, that there was much of a price difference between them either. And in fact, wasn't the Christmas party usually a bit cheaper than the Halloween party?
This is why we have Amanda on to know stuff, right? Because she has to book this for people. But I don't remember. Because I never did.
Yeah, it's been years for me. So yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Amanda.
I honestly don't remember what the pricing was. I think they were about the same, But for this, I wouldn't be surprised if they were a little bit more, just because with the limited amount of people that can get in, there's not as many dates for Christmas.
Say, less dates. Yeah.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
Shorter time span. Yeah.
I think they could charge more if they wanted to. And it's also a longer party.
It's true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
So this is going to have Disney characters, holiday music and decor, special treats. Holiday overlays will return to some attractions. I'm assuming that means Jingle Cruise is coming back. Probably not just for this party. I'm assuming Jingle Cruise will come back for the end of the year.
We're going to get an updated Jingle Cruise.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, I'm assuming they've prepared for this already.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the whole Jingle Cruise thing. I'm glad that they do that. So.
Yeah, but they're going to work in the new storyline into it.
Yeah,
so
the
that's
new
exciting.
storyline. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, I want to see that.
All right. So, any other thoughts about the Christmas party before we talk about all the other stuff?
Yeah, not specifically about this. Let's talk about all the other things that are going on at the same time as well.
So all the decorations are coming back. There's going to be at night. There's going to be most nights on Cinderella's castle. There's going to be holiday projections, alternating periodically with the castle's transformation into the Beacon of Magic. That's the Beacon of Magic is the thing they're doing for the 50th. I guess they're going to alternate that somehow. I don't know. But that'll be interesting. Oh, by the way, the tickets for Very Merriest go on sale next month. So August, those will go on sale. I don't think they gave an exact date, and I don't think they gave pricing yet. So we're still going to wait to know what that's going to be. But I'm sure we'll know soon since it's only a couple weeks away. So. Mm-hmm. And then Hollywood Studios Sunset Seasons Greetings is coming back. So that's the projection stuff that happens on Tower of Terror. Or the Hollywood Holiday Tower Hotel. I can't speak apparently. And then so there's going to be some Muppets. It says a Muppets gingerbread masterpiece. Oh, that's part of the projections, right? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Also going to alternate with the Beacon of Magic stuff. But this one too, I don't think this happened before. Santa Claus is going to go down. It's going to do a motorcade down Hollywood Boulevard, which is kind of cool. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, because Santa Claus is always in the parade in the Christmas party. Yep. We don't normally see him at Hollywood Studios, do we?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong about that. But yeah, so that's cool.
I think they had Santa in Hollywood Studios in a cavalcade last year.
Okay.
Don't hold me to that, but I think they did.
I don't remember what happened over the last year.
We were there in 2019, and I don't remember. Yeah, we went to Hollywood Studios, and I didn't remember seeing anything about Santa in Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But we should also mention too that we were talking about Hollywood Vine earlier. They're going to have their holiday special meal thing that they do with Santa Goofy. He's going to be there, which is great.
Awesome.
Animal Kingdom feels like the vaguest of all of these.
the nondescript animal or the snowy animal thing that they did.
Yeah, well, you remember that? That's right. You got to see that, didn't you?
Yeah, we saw it, and I mean it was cool. Like the puppets and everything were very cool, but I mean it was nice. It was winter centric. It wasn't Christmas centric, and I guess that's the thing about Animal Kingdom is that it's not. It's celebrating winter, not Christmas.
Yeah, it just feels very vague here, right? Like it's just the return of seasonal decor, festive Disney character flotillas sailing down the river, songs of the season, Tree of Life is another, again, Beacon of Magic, and then a holiday edition of Tree of Life Awakenings, which actually is one of my favorite things at night at Animal Kingdom is that whole Awakenings thing that they were doing for the longest time. It was very, very cool. So that's a cool one, I guess, but more to come, I think, on that one. But Disney Springs, it looks like they're going to do the Christmas tree stroll. They're going to bring that back, so that's good. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people like that.
Magical Snowfall. So it's funny that they're calling out the snowfall in Disney Springs specifically, but I think it happens in at least Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios as well.
Yeah, at night it happens in I've seen it happen in both of those. Amanda, go ahead. Were you going to say something?
I think the snow falls in Hollywood Studios like every night, but I think at Magic Kingdom it's only on the party nights before.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I've seen the snowfall though in Magic Kingdom. You know what I saw it was they used to do, and because I've never been to one of the Christmas parties. I remember when they would freeze the castle, which they're not doing this year, which I do have in this list. But when Frozen was still a big thing, which I know it's still a big thing, but when it was really in its prime, they had like Elsa freeze the castle, and I remember when they did that, they made it snow on Main Street. But I don't know. Yeah, but yeah. But I don't know if they're still going to do that. I'm assuming they will. I mean, they got plenty of those snow machines floating around, right? So I'm just wondering, is it going to snow constantly at Town Center in Disney Springs?
By the way, for anyone that comes from climates where you actually get snow, do not try to catch the snow on your tongue.
No.
My son did that. It's actually soap. Sorry, little behind the scenes magic there.
Way to ruin the magic. Jeez.
It's not good. Don't do it.
Yeah, way to ruin it.
Well, I'm saving somebody getting a mouthful of soap.
I'm assuming it's non-toxic soap because they assume people will do that, right? So, but anyway,
yeah. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't eat soap in general, though, even if it's non-toxic.
Yeah, for sure. So some other stuff is happening there too. I think some of the big things here. Gingerbread displays are coming back. They're saying select resorts. I don't know if that means they're still not going to have all of them. I don't know, but okay, I hope they do.
So here's a question for both of you. Is there a particular resort's gingerbread house that you want to see?
Grand Floridian, that's the one, right?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
That's like the number one that people go to, right? I mean,
yeah, well,
go ahead.
I like the Wilderness Lodge one better, but...
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But I think the most elaborate one is the Grand Floridian one, right? I mean... Amanda, is that what you're trying to say too?
Yeah, I really like the Grand Floridian one. I also like the one at Beach Club. That's the carousel. I think that's really cool.
Oh, okay. I haven't checked that one out yet, so that gives me something to look for.
It's really nice, and it actually moves. So I just think that's kind of above and beyond.
Yeah, that is really cool. Like a moving gingerbread display. Like that's really neat. I have not seen that because I don't think I've ever actually stepped foot in Beach Club before. So
I was going to say, I guess you've never been on Haunted Mansion in Disneyland at Christmas either, because
you get your special.
Because those gingerbread houses are, I mean that. Sorry, but even the Grand Floridian one has nothing on the Nightmare Before Christmas gingerbread houses over the years.
I did watch, I forget what it was. Maybe it was One Day at Disney, or it was something on Disney Plus where they showed them making it and then trying to get it into the Haunted Mansion. And I was just like, I was sitting at the edge of my seat because I'm like, they look like they're going to drop this at any moment. And it just seemed terrifying. And I also kind of blew my mind that they put it together elsewhere and then brought it in like that. It just felt... It's like, oh man, that just seems very difficult.
Well, I mean, you can't exactly do construction in the middle of the Haunted Mansion.
It's true.
Yeah. And also, it's different every year. They don't do the same gingerbread house every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing because I've tried to make gingerbread houses at my house before, and I can't even, I've never been able to get one to stay together.
Mine are more lean-tos than houses.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So select resorts are going to have special holiday menus. So that'll be cool. But then Festival of the Holidays is coming back, November 26th to December 30th. So pretty limited time, at EPCOT, the holiday, festival there. They also are going to have, Voices of Liberty, Cookie Stroll, and the, completely detailed and more. But again, we've heard nothing about Candlelight Processional. I have a feeling it's not going to happen or else they wouldn't have announced it.
You think so? When do they usually announce Candlelight Processional? Is it when all this stuff comes out, or does it? I always thought it was a bit later than the big announcement. Yeah,
I just think they would have said returning this year. Like they would have done it as part of the big announcement and said speakers to come. They'll announce the speakers later. That's
it may be one of those things where it's pending them actually nailing down particular speakers, so they don't want to. They
don't want to do it yet. Okay.
Yeah, they don't want to commit if somebody can't get in on it, right?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Amanda.
I think it would be difficult for them to do Candlelight Processional with all of the choir and everything, just because that's a lot of people in a small space.
Very small space. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that might be tough. And then, of course, the theater, right? Like, they pack that theater in. I mean...
Right. I mean, at least it's outside.
That's true. That is true. That is very true. So, I mean, well, more to come. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong here, and they'll announce something. I don't know. So, how do you guys feel about the Castle Dream Lights not coming back to Cinderella Castle? And for those that don't know, look it up online if you've never been there during the holidays. They kind of freeze the castle, kind of, sort of. It's or it looks frozen anyway, right? Yeah. But it's very cool. It's a very cool thing, and it's something they do. Well, they used to do every year. I actually think this has more to do with the 50th anniversary than it does any COVID stuff. I think they just don't want to do this with the 50th going on. That's just what my opinion on that.
I agree with that. I think that if this is people's one and only time to go to Disney, they want them to be able to see the 50th display and not just the Christmas display.
Because I think, I don't want to say it takes away from anything, on the show, because at night it's amazing, but you can also kind of see it during the day, And the other thing is, I'm just thinking about this. Maybe they couldn't. It's a big it's a bunch of mesh that they put over top of the castle with lights, and so I think it's pretty solid. Solid metal that they put over top. Maybe they just couldn't do it with the decorations they have on the castle for the 50th. Maybe they just literally couldn't fit them over top.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking more about, is that going to affect the projections? But it wouldn't. But yeah, you're right. With the current additions they have to the castle for the 50th, yeah, that may be prohibitive to them adding a whole bunch of lights on top of it.
Yeah, maybe they would have had to modify, because I'm sure they just have it pre-built, right? And they just put it on every year. But maybe they just would have had to modify it too much to make it work with those extra decorations that are on there, and just they just don't want to go through that trouble. I just think it makes sense. I think if everything was normal the past year and a half, I still think they wouldn't have had the lights this year.
Yeah, and I was gonna add on to that kind of like what you said, Amanda, is with the 50th and everything. I think it's also, it feels like it's too much. It turns into a matter of, you've already got the after hours parties going on some nights. Then you have the Beacon of Magic, which they definitely want to show that off, because they've advertised it across all 4 parks that they're each going to have their own Beacon of Magic. So, but just between those two things, for me personally, if it was I want to see, Cinderella's Castle Dreamlights, and it's well, you can only do that on Thursday and Saturday, right? That's a turnoff in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.
I can see why they wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. I'm not mad, because I will take any nighttime shows personally. So, yeah. I'm not picky that way.
Amanda, I know you're playing the role of Damon here, but are you a big nighttime show person? Because Damon hates anything that happens after 7 p.m. So
that is my favorite part. And I like it to be the last thing I see, the Magic Kingdom fireworks, before I leave. That has to be the very last thing.
Mm-hmm. We're just gonna fire Damon, and you just replace him, because that's how you should. He always tries to say that I'm not a real Disney fan for X reason, but he won't stay for any of the nighttime shows. I think that makes you a really bad Disney Parks fan, if you ask me.
Exactly. So. Because even with 2 screaming kids, I have to stay and watch. So
yeah, exactly.
I had my son fall asleep at a table in Disneyland while we were waiting for fireworks, because, we were insistent that we watch the fireworks, but he had to have a nap. And then, I woke him up for the fireworks, which he was a bit groggy at the beginning, but he ultimately enjoyed them. And personally, I love closing the parks more than doing rope drop. That's just my favorite thing.
Me too.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree. When it was just my wife and I, we used to do both. We used to rope drop and go straight up till close, right?
The Warriors, yep.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore, obviously. My daughter really ruined Disney for us. She really just
No, she didn't, okay, Tom. You're in another phase of Disney, and it's wonderful. I've been through the phase that you're in, and now that we're coming out of it to, having an older child and going to Disney, it does go back to the way it was, but what you're having now is really awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
I know. Don't sell it short. I know you don't get to go on the rides and stuff as much as you want, but it's it's awesome.
Well, I mean, truthfully, in the next, probably year or so here, I mean, she's going to be tall enough for some stuff, Yep. The way she's growing, she's going to start being tall enough for some of the things that we want to do with her. So
you got to get ready for roller coasters, Tom.
Oh no, that's my wife's thing. I mean, I go
until she wants daddy to come.
Everything,
what happens when she wants daddy to come?
She'll have mommy. That's fine. She likes mommy more than she likes me anyway. So anyway, but I'm looking through this Christmas merchandise and I'm just like, I'm not seeing anything that jumps out to me.
I was going to ask the Spirit jersey's kind of neat. I like the way they did it with like the candy canes and the gingerbread.
I like the ears. I like the ear headband with Mickey on it and the tree cookie. Like I'm down for that. Like Spirit jerseys just don't appeal to me in general. I'm not necessarily getting the appeal of Spirit jerseys, and I know that those are like a big thing there, but I don't know. I'm just not into the Spirit jerseys.
I mean, it
looks cool though. I'll give you that. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it, but I like the design. I think it's a really cool design.
Yeah, like and for those, I'm going to post some of these pictures, obviously, but basically it has Walt Disney World on it. It has the logo, but it's all spelled out in like different holiday stuff. So like candy canes and cookies and I don't know what else is there. Cookies and marshmallows, I think, on a stick somewhere in there. Hot cocoa, like so. It's pretty cool. And then you have your typical light necklace. You got the Christmas light necklace. I wonder if we're going to get any of the holiday shows this year. They did them last year, though, didn't they?
You didn't say anything about this Jiminy Cricket ornament where he's on the 8-ball.
Where's their Jiminy Cricket ornament? Let me see. I didn't see that at all. Oh, that one's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
That would be the one I would get this year.
I mean, there's a couple of good Chip and Dales in there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
Is there any jumping out for you, Amanda?
Ooh, Groot. The Groot one covered in lights. Sorry, Amanda, didn't mean to jump in front of you there. The Groot one covered in lights right in the middle there. That one's cool. I like it. Anything for you, Amanda? Sorry.
I'm really a Mickey Mouse person, so I really like the Mickey Mouse one. And we always have to get a Christmas ornament. We have a specific tree that's only Disney ornaments, so we have to get one every year.
Awesome.
That's such a page out of my mom's playbook. She likes... No joke, like when we went this year in April, we got her a Christmas ornament with the year on it, even though she wasn't with us and didn't come, because she always likes an ornament from Disney from that year. You know what I mean? So I just got like the stereotypical, like, Mickey one that said like Walt Disney World 2021, but she loves that. She loves having those. So I think that's cool. I think it's cool you get a new one every year.
Yeah,
which Mickey one are you talking about? Because there's a couple Mickey ones on here. Sorry, Trevor.
I was going to say we're the same way, Amanda. We make it a tradition to always, even if we go in like June or something, we will always go to the Christmas store and pick out an ornament for our tree every year.
Right. Though I really like the one. It looks like a key, and I don't necessarily collect the keys, but it has a snow globe on the end, and I just think that's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that one. I like the other one they have though too, of the hot air balloon one. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, we have one that's similar to that already. So, I mean, I guess I could have two of the same ones, but
There's actually a lot of good ornaments here. There's a lot that I just noticed. There's a Mandalorian one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, on the
I
speeder.
think that's Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks
I
like
think
Mandalorian.
so.
Yeah,
I think so. Okay, he's riding.
And there's Luca
speeder
as
there.
well. If you're wanting.
Oh yeah, which I haven't watched yet.
Yeah.
Oh, my daughter has watched that like 5 times today. So.
Oh wow. I need to get on that. That's on my list. I was too involved with Loki, and then I was. What else did I watch? I just haven't gotten around
Black
to
Widow.
it.
Or not? Yeah.
Well, I saw Black Widow in theaters though. I don't think I talked about that. I think I like literally immediately after we finished recording last week. I went right to the theater. So that was enjoyable. If anybody hasn't seen that was really good.
It was really good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. I have to say, not to just like give my Black Widow review here, but like. Those who have seen it will probably like agree with me. I've seen, I think, all the Marvel movies at this point, and I don't think I've ever seen one that was like that. Like just the beginning of that movie was very different than every other Marvel movie I think I've ever seen. Like just the opening credits were like intense, like really intense.
Not like the Spider-Man, like the typical like fanfare credits and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
wasn't that at all. Yeah, I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but
I haven't seen it yet, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting in the theater like, whoa. Like, man, it's a very emotion packed movie. It's not like it's not like one of those Avengers movies where there's a lot of action and the fighting in it is fantastic, but like it's just got a different kind of feel to it. It's very much like about family and stuff like that, as opposed to just like, blowing up buildings and stuff. But there's still some of that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
there's always there.
I think Disney and Marvel are realizing that they need to break away from that a little bit, because you can only, like you said, you can only do the blowing up buildings movie like Avengers so many times, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So back to the merchandise here. I want to call out this Life Day Treasury Star Wars book. I find it funny that they're actually that they're acknowledging Life Day again.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. I didn't even notice that. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. It's just so weird because like Life Day was that whole thing was pretty awful when it came out. But, I find it funny that, Disney is kind of jumping in on it, and they're continuing to expand on it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing that in, Galaxy's Edge at some point where, it has a Christmas overlay or a Life Day overlay.
I feel like we said that one time that they should do that. Yeah,
we said they should, but I feel like every time stuff like this comes out that there's,
more
the chance. Yeah, the chances of it become more real.
Fair enough. All right. Anything else we want to talk about with the holidays before we move on here?
No, I'm good.
Well, all right then. Well, let's go ahead and do our ad then for Monera Financial. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. All right. So we talked earlier about DVC resale market. If you're looking for financing options for your DVC purchase, look no further than Monera Financial. Monera, a World of DVC company, is the industry leader for financing DVC resale contracts. Monera offers lending with no credit checks, often very low down payments, terms as long as 10 years, and no prepayment penalties. If you're thinking of purchasing a DVC contract, go check out their quick online quote first. You might be surprised at just how affordable joining DVC can be. So go to monerafinancial.com or call 317-245-8800, and when you speak to them, make sure that you let them know that Welcome Home sent you. All right. Guys, the monorail's back.
Yay!
Yes.
Right? if you're listening to this right now, it's back because we'll release after this, but it's coming back July 18th. And when I say coming back, it's the EPCOT monorail. So obviously the resort monorail has been going, but the EPCOT monorail from the TTC to EPCOT is back on July 18th. I think everybody's so happy about this.
I'm going to put on my poly top hat and monocle and say, thank goodness I don't have to take the bus over to Epcot.
Well, the funny thing is the monorail beam at Poly is not opening yet with the resort, right? So
yeah, I know, but I just walk over to the TTC and get on
walk
the
over to TTC.
There.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But with this reopening, which I'm psyched about. But first of all, it's going to be interesting. Amanda, were you going to say something? I'm sorry, before I go on my tangent of whatever I was going to say.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So first of all, it's going to be interesting because I think people are going to get like a look into what's going on at Epcot, right? Like all those construction walls are up, and there's a lot of work going on in the middle of the park there, and we really haven't had a look at it, and just trying to think of when that construction started. Has anybody had a look inside there?
It started. So those walls were up when I was there in 2019.
Yeah. So it's been up for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're going to get a good look now at what's going on in there, right? So that's kind of cool. But also along with that, they put in a new sign, which I know sounds just kind of stupid, but like that I'm even bringing this up. But I think part of Disney is all the detail stuff. And the signs are part of it, and I really love this new sign.
The new font?
Yeah. It feels very Epcot-y to me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That is the Epcot font, isn't it? Like whatever they used to write the words Epcot.
Yeah, it looks cool, right? Mm-hmm. Is it just me?
It's very modern.
It is. but it just looks perfect to me, and it just makes me happy that they put in a new sign to go along with the new theme of the, not the new theme, but the the back to the original theme, I guess, of Epcot as they're redoing it. But I just think the sign looks cool, and I'm so psyched that they're doing this. I mean, it's great. Were you going to mention something, Amanda? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Speaking of the sign, I think it's great. And it goes to show how Disney pays attention to those minor details, which is something I really love about Disney.
And to your point before, talking about not falling behind, like these are the things that Disney needs to keep doing, right? It's that Disney's known for their details, and not that Universal isn't, but Universal's just it's a little bit different about how they do things, and the little details are a big thing with Disney, and I think that's a thing that's important too.
Right.
Yeah, I think to emphasize that, we're all sitting here staring at a sign, commenting on the details of the sign. Which,
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah,
I just think it looks great.
That's the stuff I love. Like, it's and for me, what this says to me, like, I guess I was questioning for if with the Skyliner and things changing, could it be possible that the monorail could become an artifact of Disney? Not to say that they would ever tear it down anytime soon, but it kind of I know they've been talking about upgrading the cars and stuff like that, but it seems like that kind of work has really stalled or taken too long. And it makes
they refurbished all the old trains, right? So
right, but they were supposed to be getting new trains, right? So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like if they refurbished them all, so they're probably not getting new ones anytime soon, right?
Yeah. So to that point, it's well, is this something where they run into a certain point, and then once they've got enough Skyliner lines going, that they replace it? But I mean, I don't know, things like this, like them actually, I know a sign is pretty superficial, but the fact that they're actually taking the time to update it and everything, at least makes me believe that, it's not I hope they don't ever take out the monorail, even when it's not practical to have it there. I feel it's one of those things that should just stay.
No, I agree. And I don't think the monorail is going anywhere. I don't think it is. So I wouldn't think so.
Other than Epcot.
Yeah, other than Epcot, which is this to me. See, me looking at this is me thinking to myself, things are really getting back to normal now.
Right.
Go ahead, Amanda.
I agree with that. I love taking a picture standing in the land of the monorail passing through with that water right underneath it, and then you can see the Epcot ball. The geodesic sphere.
Did you just say the Epcot ball?
I did.
Spaceshipper.
Oh my god.
Hey, it's a habit from whenever I was young.
That's
so,
okay.
At
least you didn't call it the golf ball.
That's true.
That's always bad. Yeah. See, for me, I think the experience of going to Epcot on the monorail is way better than the experience of going to Magic Kingdom on the monorail. Even totally. Going through the Contemporary, right?
Yeah.
That's a way more the fact that they drive by the station to take you on a tour of Epcot, basically to come back around to go into the station. It's just so cool. And you get such a cool view of things, and, and also you get to see some backstage things, which, is interesting. But I just, that whole drive over, with the woods on one side and that whole tour you get at Disney property, basically, I just think it's cool. It's a really neat trip, and you go a lot faster, obviously, too, on that leg of it. But, I don't know. I just think there's something about arriving to Epcot in a monorail that just feels very Epcot.
Well, and because it adds a kinetic energy to the park or to Future World, if you think about it. So you were saying, Amanda, with, you're standing by the land and you see the monorail go by on the track, and really anywhere in Future World where you see the monorail, that adds a whole dynamic to Epcot that, it feels very futuristic, right?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I feel like Epcot, one of the things I missed about Epcot when I went there, it wasn't, some of the COVID stuff. It was missing seeing that monorail go by. There is something, dare I say, magical about it. It just is. It's
Disney.
It is. You feel like you're very much in Disney.
you know, the monorails, like even when I was like little going to Disneyland, even when, you know, when the monorail went by, like you would be like full on charge to go get in line for like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or something. And you would see the monorail like off in the distance and you'd stop. Like it would just be the monorail to me is one of those pieces of Disney that, you know, if it wasn't there, it would feel wrong. And
agree.
And to your point, yeah, you know, I think again, it's one of those symbols of things coming back to normal again. And I guess so for both of you, you know, outside of the monorail, what else do you think, or what do you think is the next step, or what do you feel will be the next piece that makes it feel more normal for you?
I think we are still missing some shows, right? So I think that's one of them. I mean, once the nighttime shows came back and, you know, started coming back, I think that's felt more normal to me. But this is, I think, a big step forward, right? This is really a big step forward. I think, this is a big one. I don't know if it's the one, because until everything is reopened, then it's not back to normal, right? But this is a big thing, and I think that you know, once this is another step towards everything getting really back to normal. So it's just nice to see. It just makes me happy. It makes me wish I could be there so I could go for a ride on it. I can't imagine what the lines are going to be on it on Sunday when it reopens. It's going to be nuts.
I really agree with you. The shows, I think, are huge. Whenever they bring the shows back, it'll feel normal again. That and the dining plan.
Yes, that's true.
And annual passes.
God, there's so much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Annual passes. Yeah, that's a big one for me, because I really want to get my annual pass for next year. But do you guys, so as far as shows go, do you guys think, I think Fantasmic is going to be the big one. Like
that's the one.
Like I know there's a lot of other shows that need to come back too, but I feel like when they announce Fantasmic is starting up again, that like people are just going to go nuts.
Right.
I totally agree with that. That's the big one we're missing, right? Because most of the other nighttime shows have come back, right? So pretty much everything else has come back. The Star Wars nighttime show at Hollywood Studios, I'm not going to say who cares to that, because, you know, it's fun and stuff, but whatever. You know, like Fantasmic needs to come back. Once that comes back, that's going to really feel like things are back. You know, to a lesser extent, you know, the Indiana Joneses of the world and the Beauty and the Beast show and Finding Nemo the musical, like that stuff, those are secondary. I mean, I want those things to come back, but at the same time, I'm not looking at those as like that's when normal is back. I think you're completely right about saying Fantasmic. I think that's really the big outstanding one. And truth be told, it doesn't look like it's coming back anytime soon. I think last I saw, like a week or two ago, the whole moat was still drained. I mean, it's still kind of seems like they're just sitting there.
I think I know what you're saying, that, you know, the moat being empty feels like it's way far away, but I think that'll be one of the last things that'll happen before it comes back.
Yeah, that's true. It just feels like it's a while off still, right? You know, and truth be told, some of it could be, you know, these are the roles that they have in those shows. They gonna hire these, you know, people back or find new people in casting, and that stuff all takes time, you know. And it might not just be because they don't want people filling that stadium. It could just be because they need to find a new cast and crew for it, you know. Which stinks, but you know, it's a big show, and and also too, it's probably a really expensive show for them to do, and they want to make sure that they fill that stadium every time. So,
and I hate to say it, but the timing with the 50th coming up, I feel like they have, like you said, you know, as far as getting people back, training and all that, I feel like they need to focus more on the 50th than bringing back a show like Fantasmic now.
Yeah. I hope it comes back this year, but I don't know. I don't know if it will or not. I mean, I saw some rumors pointing to it not coming back till next year. I would be surprised if it was that long, but
I'm not expecting it in February, personally.
Really? You're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
I'm not banking on it because, you know, I want to see it, and I'll try my best to see it, but I'm not banking on it being ready by February.
I would be okay if it was closed for an extended period of time and like they made some updates. Like that would be cool. if they actually added to it. I think that would be a nice thing for the 50th too. If they said, "Oh, a new version of Fantastic," like they did a couple years ago with Disneyland's version, right?
Right.
Where they added some new effects in and they changed some things. Like, and maybe they're doing that behind the scenes and we just don't know, right?
Yeah.
But I would love if they would announce like Phantasmic coming, probably come back October 1st with everything else in the world coming back. It's starting to drive me a little crazy that everything's starting October 1st. It's like, but doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be there.
Let me do a segue then for you to October 1st. Is why don't we talk about these Fab 50 character statues that'll be in the parks as of October 1st.
I kind of love the fact that they're like kind of announcing these like one by one with like videos, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's fun, but at the same time, it's like I think we all knew Mickey was going to be there. Like, did you? But I mean, of course, you're going to make a video about it. But.
That statue is incredibly shiny. Like, it is. I didn't expect it to be as shiny as it is.
Are they going to have like a custodial cast member every day going through and like shining these things up? Because sitting out in the elements. I don't know what kind of coatings that they put on these things, but, sure birds are going to land on them. And
it's probably more chrome than gold.
Yeah, that's true. But so the ones that have been announced so far are Mickey, and then the next one that was announced was Goofy. We also know that Minnie's going to be there too, obviously. What I'm going to get interested is like when we get to like 20 and beyond. I feel like I know the first 20, like... That's what I'm going to get interested is when we get beyond the 20 mark.
Yeah. So we talked about this on a previous episode, but so for you, Amanda, we kind of speculated on what we think some of the Fab 50 could be. Who do you think should be in the Fab 50? Because we all have different ideas on it, obviously.
That is a great question. You're putting me on the spot here.
Yep, I sure am.
That's what we do here. We put people on the spot. Damon does no preparation for the show because he wants to be put on the spot all the time.
Oh, there you go. All right.
But don't worry about it if you don't have a good answer right now. It's okay.
I mean, I think there are so many that they could do. So it's so hard to choose. But I do think they may put some Marvel characters in there if they can. Maybe like Star-Lord, possibly, just because he's not something that Universal owns in Florida. So then that could give them Marvel without, stepping on any toes. Possibly a Remy could go near the new Remy ride.
Oh, I think a Remy's happening.
So I think that would be really cute. Probably a Simba in Animal Kingdom, I would think. So I think there are some good ones that they could do, and I'm excited to see all of them.
It'll be interesting to see, because they could probably go around the whole World Showcase, basically, and each country have some sort of Disney character be there, right? You could have for Mexico, you could, have Miguel from Coco, right?
Right.
You could do that. I mean, you could obviously, I think there's no chance that Anna and Elsa aren't somewhere, or Olaf at least. There's a Frozen character going to be somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm. Same with Moana.
Yeah, Moana's going to show up, but I also think that they're going to do a lot of the classic princesses too, like Mulan and, Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. All those, those are all have to be in there, right?
Right.
There's no way they don't have all of those, probably Tiana, Rapunzel's going to show up. All the princesses are going to be there. So I guess it's just the oddball ones, what are those ones going to be? What are the Pixar ones going to be? Are they going to have really weird ones? I really hope they have a Figment. If they don't have a Figment, I'm going to be bummed. But I think there's zero chance they don't have a Figment.
Right. I think they definitely need Figment.
They have to, right?
So here's an interesting thought. If you're going around the World Showcase, Canada, technically, so Pixar is doing a show next year I think it's called Seeing Red. And
yeah, I saw that the movie is going to take place in Canada, right?
It takes place in Toronto, yeah, and it's a Canadian cast and all that, and the main character is a giant red panda. So I don't know why, because that aside,
has nothing to do with Canada.
yeah. But so would Canada get a giant red panda statue before the movie came out, symbolizing the Fab 50?
Is there no other Canadian thing that happened?
I can't think of any obvious Canadian.
I
things.
can't either.
I mean, we kind of get lumped in. Brother Bear is because it's that like Northwestern Native American mythology and whatnot.
Gotcha.
So that kind of gets lumped in a little bit up here sometimes, but yeah, I mean it's valid. It's just we don't have like a truly like, this is the Canadian show.
Because it is interesting, like, what do you do in EPCOT, right? Because, like, EPCOT was, I mean, and it's not really this way anymore, right? But it was really like a character-free park for a long time, with the exception of Figment, right? That's why Figment exists. So, like, are they gonna have a lot of statues in there? Like, are they gonna have Figment in the Dreamfinder? Like, are they gonna do something from Horizons? Are they gonna, or are they just gonna keep it to, like, the movies and shows like that we know, like it's going to be
common, well-known characters. Yeah.
I know we talked about this forever on that other podcast, so maybe we don't need to get into it super again. But I think the thing that stood out to me, there were two things that stood out to me in this. First of all, we talked about that there was going to be an interactive element. The video is done by the guy that does the voice of Mickey Mouse. And he said that he's recording something for this. So my thinking is there's going to be some sort of interactive thing where the statue is going to talk. That's just my guess.
You magic band it and then it says something, or
that's my guess.
Or or it could be like an augmented reality thing where you use the Disney Play app or Disney Experience app, and it has like something augmented reality that talks to you on the screen or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the second thing that stuck out to me was this statement. Mickey is the first, and other character sculptures will be announced in the upcoming weeks by Disney stars and cast members from Walt Disney World, Disney Plus, Pixar, Walt Disney Animation Studios, D23, Disney Channel, Nat Geo TV, Disney Vacation Club, and more. I don't know if that means anything. Like, because who are the people that are announcing this? Like, is it always going to be the person that's doing the voice? Is it going to be somebody that created the character? Like, what's the DVC tie-in here? Like, why would you have someone from DVC announcing something?
That's a really good question. I can't.
Right? Yeah, this is what I'm trying. And Disney Plus too. Like, is there going to be a Mandalorian thing? There's probably got to be, right?
Well, maybe.
Or Marvel, I guess. I don't know, Marvel stuff. Because I don't think this like a statue would necessarily fall under the Universal thing, right? Although they can't sell merchandise. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I guess I haven't been in DVC long enough, I guess, to know if there's any historical character or anything tied to DVC.
The only thing I can think of is that puppet that they had that was doing the promotional videos, but no one cares enough about that to make it into a statue. So unless they just have one of the DVC executives making one of the announcements that they couldn't figure out anybody else to do, you know what I mean? Like, well, I don't know. It just feels weird.
Well, I was going to say, I'm betting on there being a Figaro statue somewhere. So maybe, that'll be something that gets announced by like a DVC rep or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. All right. Well,
I'm saying it now. There's a Figaro statue, guaranteed.
I think you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have to see, right? So in the upcoming weeks, they're gonna do this. You notice that they don't mention Marvel in here anywhere. So
no, I don't think they should.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
And Star Wars isn't mentioned either.
Yeah, because those are not classic Disney. I know Pixar is kind of on the outside, but Pixar has been part of Disney longer than Marvel and Star Wars. So yeah.
I think that's probably. That being said, they say Disney Plus in there. It still makes me think that there's going to be a Mandalorian thing. But I mean, listen, who doesn't want to go and look at a Baby Yoda gold statue? Right? There's got to be one. I'm saying it right now. And don't nobody write me and say Grogu. I know.
I feel like we would get Yoda before we get Baby Yoda.
We get what?
We get Yoda before we get Baby Yoda.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Baby Yoda's popular.
I know, but Yoda's on a whole other level.
That's fair. Yeah. What if it's like Baby Yoda and Yoda standing next to each other? Are you cool with that? Yeah. Or does that just break the whole?
I'm not gonna be like picky about whatever they choose, because I mean it's their interpretation of what the Fab 50 is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be like an award show kind of situation where it's like no matter who's nominated, there's always going to be somebody that's like, well, these are the people that were snubbed, right? There's got to be some snubs in here, right? Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting. But I'll be interested to see. When I see Disney Plus on there, it just makes me think, who from Disney Plus? Like, there's obviously going to be somebody from one of the series that's on Disney Plus, right? Because they want to promote Disney Plus. What series are the biggest on there? The Marvel ones and Mandalorian, right? So, I don't know. We'll see. So I put this thing on here because I think this is kind of interesting because everybody complains about the paper straws, and now Joffrey's is giving out sugar straws.
I'm happy about that.
You're happy about it?
I don't like the paper straws, so I always brought my own. But if they're going to give me the sugar straws, I'm good with that.
Yeah, and I think we should probably note, right? It's not like a straw made out of sugar. I'm sure it's probably from like a byproduct of like processing sugar, like it's like a sugar cane piece or something like that.
So it doesn't taste sweet?
I don't think it tastes sweet.
No, I've actually used them before. They look recycled, so I think it's maybe part of the sugar cane. Maybe
that makes sense.
The leaves or whatever. But I think they're good, and they feel more like a real straw and not the funny feeling of the paper straws.
So don't get like mushy.
Right.
Yeah. I know this is a weird thing to put on here, but I know like there's been a lot of discussion about paper straws. So.
I was going to say, I feel like sugar straws, it would turn into people just walking around munching on these straws instead of actually like buying stuff.
What am I'm trying to remember where this is from, but somebody using a Twizzler as a straw, and that's what it reminded me of. But I feel like it was from a movie or TV show. But
you guys didn't do that when you were a kid at the drive-in theater?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I was going to say, I did that all the time when I was a kid, but
no, that's not what this is, though. This is just a solid straw that's biodegradable. So, but here's the thing, like Joffrey's is one thing, like I forget where I read it. It was, and I forget what the number was, but I think it's like Disney World by itself goes through like 100 million straws a year or some insane number. So like, it's one thing for Joffrey's to do it, but Disney World as a whole, they have to find somebody that can make that many straws for them. So, but I don't remember if that's the number or not. I might be exaggerating that. But now I've got to Google this.
Yeah. Yeah, we can come back to that later. I'm sure there'll be more chance to discuss straws and recyclable materials. It's all part and parcel with, Disney's trying to minimize their environmental footprint. So, yeah, that's good. I'm curious because, like I said, I've never used a sugar straw before, so that's new to me.
That'll be a new experience for me too. I have never done that before, so. Yeah, that's really interesting. So anyway, where's it? 175 million straws.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, right? Like, that's an insane amount of straws. So anyway, I don't think that's just Disney World, though. I think that's Disney as a whole. But still, 175 million straws is absurd. So, like, it's one thing to be like, okay, well, just replace them all with those. But you have to find somebody that can actually supply 175 million straws a year. Yeah. It's a lot of straws. So anyway, and also 13 million single-use plastic stirrers too. That's what I just found on the internet here. Look at that. It's directly from Disney too. It's not like from some weird site. That's actually from Disney. So anyway, but it's cool that they're doing this kind of stuff. I think that's really a neat thing. And, it's interesting to see it starting at Joffrey's. So
yeah.
All right, so I got one more thing on this list today, and I usually don't talk about Disney Plus. Sometimes we talk about Disney Plus, but they put out a trailer for Behind the Attraction. Did you guys watch this? The new theme park series that's coming.
I did, and I'm kind of excited for it. I think it'll be. This is what we all talk about, doing like the behind the scenes tours, right? This is giving people the opportunity to see this stuff without actually having to pay for the tour, for starters.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this kind of stuff personally.
Go ahead,
right. I really am excited for this. I haven't seen this yet, the trailer yet, but I am excited for the show. I like anything showing the little secret tricks of Disney. So I think this will be a fun show to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I have a certain amount of trepidation about the show, and I'll tell you why. I feel like I've watched a lot of behind the scenes Disney shows, and I feel like I learn the same things every time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never feel like I'm learning new tidbits about stuff. Now, the exception to that was Imagineering Story, where I feel like I really learned stuff I did not know, right? So I'm hopeful that this series can be the same way, where I really learned stuff that is new to me. But like, if I hear the story one more time about how Soren was invented when the guy went home for Thanksgiving and got his erector set and built it, like, I feel like I've seen it in like 4 different series, and I'm like, it's not a fun fact to me anymore, you know? Like, I want to know stuff that I've never heard before. I also don't know if I really care what The Rock has to say about the Jungle Cruise. Like, I want to hear from like the people that built this stuff and designed this stuff. I saw in the trailer, it's like The Rock doing interview. Like, no offense to The Rock, I just, what does he have to do with this besides being in the movie about it and
so
sing it?
I feel that that's a matter of there is he's in the recent movie, so he's a good presenter. Like, I feel he would be good. Just I know what you're saying is having the guy who's like the technological wizard behind it explaining stuff is one thing versus The Rock explaining it. But I feel it's more digestible coming from Dwayne Johnson than it is from for lack of a better term, if you get overly technical and nerdy about it, most people are going to stop listening.
See, that's what I want, though.
I know.
Want that. That's why I loved Imagineering Story, because it was so nerdy and detailed and
No,
sorry, go ahead.
I know. I'm right there with you. I want to get into the details. I want to get into the really technical stuff, but you also have to remember that these shows are designed for a more general audience, which, sorry, Tom, is not us.
That's fair.
But one thing I will say, you're right. Things like the Haunted Mansion. It's like, yeah, I know how the Pepper's Ghost effect works. I know how.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I know a lot of these things, but I find every time I go into these shows or into looking into the stuff, I always find at least one new thing. There'll always be something that'll be like, oh, I didn't know that before, or I didn't know that, that's why they did that particular thing. A good example was, for the longest time, I didn't know about the bullet hole in the glass in Disneyland. And I didn't, I didn't know that was a thing, even though I've actually seen it multiple times, because it looks like they put a spider on it. So it looks like a spider web, but I wasn't cognizant of it. And, the last time I went, I was actively looking for it. And, that made my day when I was like, oh yeah, I know what that is. So, that's what I'm hoping to do. Even if a lot of it is repeated, I will still sit there and watch it.
Oh, I will too.
And I hope to at least get one tidbit out of it. Right.
Yeah, no, I will definitely still watch this. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to watch it. I'll probably watch all the first 5 episodes on July 21st. Like, I probably will just binge it, because I do love this stuff. I crave more of it. I want another Imagineering series. And I remember when this series was announced and I was psyched about it. I saw Dwayne Johnson and I'm like, okay, it's one thing for you to be a producer. Now you're just like throwing him in there because everybody loves The Rock. And I get it. Like, I get it. Everybody loves him. But I want to hear from the guy that, design Star Tours, and I want to hear, how they built it and all that fun stuff. Like, that's what I want to hear about. But, or like for the Haunted Mansion, for example, I've only heard this one time ever, right? And I don't remember the whole story, but when I did Keys to the Kingdom, our tour guide told us all sorts of cool facts about the Haunted Mansion that I've never heard before. And one of them was about the chess pieces that are on the top of the building. Mm-hmm. Do you know about this one?
I vaguely remember something about this, but
yeah, and yeah. I don't remember the whole story. But if you look at the top of the Haunted Mansion, there's what looks like chess pieces as the part of the spires and stuff. And there was a whole story about it. And frankly, I don't remember the whole thing. But like, that's the kind of stuff I want to know about. I think it was something that had to do with somebody was playing a prank on somebody or one of the Imagineers and put some chess pieces on top of their model when they were building it, and then it stayed or something like that. But yeah. Yeah, like that's the kind of stuff I want to hear. Like, I want to hear that interesting stuff that's different, that nobody knows, that's really just very inside stuff. Like, that's the complete thing. And I hope that's what we get. I mean, I don't know. I think we talked about. Go ahead, Amanda. Sorry.
That's all right. I think they have to walk a fine line though, because they don't want to give away so much that people don't pay for the behind the scenes tours, because they make money from that, and maybe not necessarily from the show on Disney Plus, but I don't know.
Yeah. Or the magic is ruined. Right. Good. So, sorry, Trevor. Yeah.
But I was going to say, I know you say, Tom, that you want to hear things that nobody else knows. But if they announce these things on this show, then everybody knows them, and then what are you going to have that nobody else knows?
That's true. that's true.
sorry, I'm playing devil's advocate here now. But
no, it's fair. It's totally fair, right? So it's. Yeah, I know. I now I gotta look up the whole chess piece thing, because I've gotta
but yeah, you're right. That's one of those things where it's like a fun tidbit that you wouldn't hear that elsewhere, and I'm hoping for at least one item like that out of these shows for these attractions, just enough that the next time I go to the park, I'm just looking at the attraction a little bit differently. That's all I want. Right.
Yeah. I don't need to hear about how there's a basketball hoop in the Matterhorn again. We know.
I don't know, that episode was that was pretty cool seeing.
Oh no,
up in
trust
the court,
me, that was different though, right? Because we got to see it, right? They took you into it, and they really showed you some really cool. That's why the Imagineering story was great. And if you haven't watched it yet, go and watch it, because it's great, right? Even just learning some of the stuff where they're talking about how they pitched the Tower of Terror and they had no idea how they were going to do it. You know what I mean? They literally just pitched it and they're like, oh yeah, and the elevator comes out of the shaft and it moves on its own. And they were like, yeah, we had no idea how to do it when we pitched it. We got to go figure it out. I never knew that they worked that way. And that's amazing stuff, right? So, that's the kind of stuff I want to hear, the stories behind some of the stuff that you might not know,
Yeah, no, that's fair. I guess I'm expecting to be a little bit more generalized than that.
You're probably right. Yeah, I think the Imagineering story is the one for the nerds. And then this is more of the, the ones where you're going to get the things that everybody knows.
well, no, again, it's not the things that everybody knows. It's, we know this stuff because we've already been invested and looked into all this stuff. But, there are a lot of people that don't pay attention to it, and they may actually pay attention to it because of this show. But yeah, for the rest of us, it may just be, okay, there's nothing super interesting there. But and honestly, something like the Haunted Mansion, I spent way too much time looking at stuff on the Haunted Mansion, so yeah, there's probably not anything you're going to tell me new about that. I'm more likely to learn more about Star Tours, and even that one, I've picked up on things in the queue, and how they've kind of reused things from when it was the old version of the ride and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm there's certain parts that I'm expecting to not know or not learn anything new just because I'm already far too invested in it.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I Googled this chess piece thing, and I remember the story. I remember there being a story behind it, but this is kind of this website says it's often said, especially on the Keys to the Kingdom tour, that Imagineer Mark Davis, an avid chess player, cleverly hid chess pieces in plain sight on the roof of the Haunted Mansion as a nod to his favorite pastime. But a former Imagineer wrote in his book that it was simply a design element that was popular when the Haunted Mansion would have been built. But then apparently Mark Davis also said something about adding a scene in Pirates of the Caribbean Q where there are two skeletons playing chess. So, I mean, I guess it goes, a couple different ways, but then I also I remember there being a story behind it about somebody doing a prank or something, but I wish I could remember. I did Keys to the Kingdom so long ago, I just can't remember the whole thing. But it is, you should note here too, though, that all of the chess pieces are on the roof, but the knight is missing because it's always night at the Haunted Mansion. That's supposedly the reason the knight is missing. I don't know if seriously, that's a real thing. So if you've never noticed before that there are chess pieces on the top of the Haunted Mansion, go and look, because there are. So anyway, all right.
We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, probably. I think we've done enough here. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, Amanda? That we haven't talked about?
I mean, I could talk Disney all day, so.
Well, that's why we have 2-hour episodes sometimes, because we just go on and on and on. So
yeah, no, y'all had a little bit of everything, so I like it. We're good.
So we try to mix it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up, Trevor.
All right. So as usual, if you guys want to reach us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. As you heard at the beginning of the episode, we take listener questions via email. You guys give us some great stories. You share your own trip reports with us, and we really appreciate. We love that you guys reach out to us on that level. So keep it coming. And if you wanted to reach us on Facebook, you can always find us there as Welcome Home Podcast. And remember that you can join the Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. One of the better Disney groups on the internet as far as I'm concerned, because, we've got some really cool people in there. People are always posting, fun stuff in there, as well as actual questions, discussions about DVC and Disney trips and all that kind of stuff. So come get in the conversation if you're really wanting to talk Disney with some other people. And as usual, if you want to follow our YouTube channels, is Welcome Home Podcasts, and our Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. Those are good to have as we are starting to get back more to planning trips. That we'll be posting more content on those. So subscribe to them just so that you can catch stuff as we're posting it. And last but not least, if you want some merchandise for the Welcome Home Podcast logo merchandise, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com. And just as a reminder, as we said at the beginning of the episode, if you would like to get the Haunted River Country t-shirt, go to haunted.welcomehomepodcast.com. Remember that we have a limited run of those. It's 200 shirts, or we'll stop selling them as of August 1st, whichever comes first. So if you want a shirt, make sure you go grab it before they disappear. And if you want to leave a review on iTunes, please do so. We got some great ones. What was that one, Tom, that we got? The 5-star...
The 5-star review that said we shouldn't review food because we're too picky.
Right. So yeah,
I like that one.
We like reviews like that. And I guess my only retort to that is, yes, we're all picky and we all have individual tastes, but because our tastes don't overlap, I think it's fair for us to actually review things because we all have our own point of view on it.
Yeah.
So there.
I appreciate the review though, and I appreciate the 5 stars. I'm not going to say bad things about the review. It kind of just made me chuckle. So yeah. So, and also, I'm sorry, Trevor, were you going to say something else there?
No, I finished everything I needed to say. So
all right. Yep. Excellent. Well, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, any podcast app out there. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that says Disney and DVC, and that's us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a DVC representative or Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Big thank you to Amanda for coming on the show today. Amanda, thank you for coming on. Can you please tell everybody where they can find you? Well, best place to listen to your show and to reach you for travel agency needs?
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I really enjoyed talking to both of you tonight. You can find me at Amanda Hollis Capture the Magic Vacations on Facebook. That's my work Facebook page. And for our podcast, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter at T3M Podcast. That's T, the number 3, M Podcast.
I like that. I like that abbreviation. That's nice.
Yeah. Makes it easy.
It works out well. Well, thanks again for showing up today and coming, and we enjoyed having you on, so we appreciate it. So please check out her podcast and check out if you need a travel agent, check that out too. So a big thank you also to our sponsors, DVC Resale Market and Monorail, for sponsoring this episode and their continuing partnership with us. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.